And listen, you are very pro Najee.
My previously good name to Najee.
You did. And I have not been a fan, but I've admitted, Najee Harris has looked good this year.
Yeah.
He has absolutely looked good this year, but honestly, I thought Jaylen Warren just looked like the better, more explosive running back last night, which is what we saw most of last year as well. They were just stubborn with Najee Harris. We were like, free Jaylen Warren. 57% of the snaps, got a 19% target share. It's his third straight game, Jaylen Warren, with at least 13 touches and at least 60 yards from scrimmage. We keep saying it week after week, like, why is Jaylen Warren not rostered in more leagues? Najee Harris has his worst fantasy game of the year. It ends his streak. He had a streak coming into this game of 5 straight games with double-digit fantasy points. He doesn't get there, just 7.4 in this one as well. Played his season low in snaps. For the first time since week 4, he did not have a goal-to-go rushing attempt. Over his last 3 games, he's averaging under 3 yards per carry. So whether it's the offensive line, whether Harris is wearing down here in the middle of the season, on the road against Cleveland on a short week as well. Short weeks are always tougher on running backs, and so maybe Warren, who missed a couple of games early in the season, he might have been fresher in this game, especially on a short week, so bounced back a little bit. So I don't want to read too much into it, but nice day at the office for Jaylen Warren. They now have 10 days before they play the Bengals, who will be off the bye. Jaylen Warren, again, just needs to be rostered in more leagues. Like, I don't think he's completely taken over this backfield. It's still going to be a split, and game script will have a little bit of it independent. Again, randomly the Steelers were chasing a lot of the game last night.
I mean, the Steelers, the thing with them is that they have a brutal remaining schedule. They've still got another game against Baltimore. They've got to play the Chiefs. As we take a look at that schedule, like, none of these games are easy. At the Bengals, there'll be dogs there. Home Browns, we just saw, obviously, that matchup. And at Eagles as well.
Week 15.
I think they're going to be in situations where they do need to throw the ball, and largely because of the schedule, because of the snap rate last night, and just because Jaylen Warren looks like the better running back, I think I'd rather just have Jaylen Warren on my team than Najee Harris the rest of the way.
Yeah, exactly. Especially, again, look at the fantasy playoffs, right? Weeks 15 through 17. At Eagles, at Ravens, home to the Chiefs. That's the Christmas Day game. So, I guess the Ravens are the way you can move the ball against Baltimore is through pass-catching running backs, and so again, you figure you're down to the Chiefs as well. The Eagles have been so tough. Like, that's a brutal schedule in the fantasy playoffs. So for leagues that still have their trade deadline open, it's different whether a league. I wouldn't mind trying to, once this week ends, because obviously the Steelers just played, their players are locked. I wouldn't mind trying to see if I could sell some of these guys.
Indeed. All right, pass game for the Steelers. Russell Wilson completes 21 of 28 attempts for 270 yards and a touchdown. But I think the big story was the introduction more of Justin Fields. Through the week, Arthur Smith talked about how the Steelers wanted to use Fields more. This is from Brian Batko covering the Steelers. Arthur Smith thinks that Justin Fields' wrinkle can and did help the Steelers offense, but he still views him as a premium starter in the NFL, not just a gadget guy. We have 2 starting quarterbacks. It's a very unique situation. Now, this was from Tuesday before the game, but you know what they say, Matthew? If you have 2 starting quarterbacks, you have no starting quarterback.
That's 100% right. I know what fantasy managers out there are thinking. Oh, we finally got Arthur Smith out of Atlanta. He can no longer mess with Bijan and Tyler Algier, He's going to go to Pittsburgh, where we already knew it was going to be a committee between Warren and Harris. So we're finally out of the mess that is Arthur Smith. Oh, no. He's going to play Justin Fields just enough to hurt Russell Wilson's fantasy value, to hurt the Steelers' chances at winning. What was that pass on third down, Jay? Explain that to me.
I don't know what's going on.
Why are you bringing in a guy who, when you say ice cold, again, hasn't warmed up, isn't in the flow of the game, and it's literally ice cold out there?
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing overall in that game. And I know Mike Tomlin's one of the great NFL coaches.
No doubt.
The way that he manages some of these end-game situations, don't understand what they're doing, calling timeouts, not calling timeouts at the end as well. So it was all a bit of a mess. And I think Russell Wilson, statistically, 21 for 28, 270 and a touchdown, that's fine. But if Fields is going to cut in, particularly on these really kind of just huge plays for the context of the game. Wouldn't be surprised if Fields is getting in there in red zone packages as well going forward. So that it really dampens Russell Wilson's ceiling.
He's been under 14 fantasy points now in 3 of his past 4 games. He's had under 30 pass attempts in 4 of his 5 starts this season. The volume doesn't bother me because Russell Wilson at his best has always just been highly efficient.
Yeah.
All those years in Seattle where he was great, like he was never like a massive voluminous passer. It was always just like he was super efficient. You know what I mean? And like he'd do these moon balls, and DK Metcalf or Tyler Lockett or whoever would come down with him. And so it's been sort of working here with the Steelers in terms of especially George Pickens. Calvin Austin catches one last night against the Commanders. It was Mike Williams, who, by the way, didn't show up in the box score, but Mike Williams was out there for 28% of the snaps. Of course, does nothing against the Browns. Catches the touchdown against my Commanders, causes us to lose. Thanks.
Yeah. Well,
hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.